my reading. Welcome to my channel. Let's do some back to senders real quick. Energy clearing real quick. So the ruthless energy of before is being cleansed. The insatiable Lilith energy is being removed. Okay? Deceptive around the light of everyone. Pitiless, ruinous idiot. 9 Romans 131, Sutta 285, Bhagavad Gita 1619. So I got my cards right here. You can see them as they shuffle. So you guys know I'm shuffling. Okay. Sorry, my cat wants me to sleep. Yeah, it's true. I gotta go to sleep. So we have Chess Master in reverse, Money Craze in reverse. Now we know where that energy is coming from, and it's going straight to hell. So covetous. 6 unfulfillment to weaponize pain. Hellgate, desiring below content. Okay. Exodus 20:17. Luke 12:15. Sutta 4:32. Bhagavad Gita 16:21. 10 evil acts, 3 of mind. And then we had another card here. So the challenge is pressure for equilibrium between supply and demand. So they're trying to right now manipulate the supply and demand energy of supply and demand like real bad. Okay? So this is so that they can manipulate any balanced markets. Okay? So anything that could be predictable, they're trying to manipulate this heavy. Okay? They're trying to like wear a mask that they're as if that they're harmonious. So let's see what kind of mask it is. So chess master persona. So sees every relationship and event as a part of the long game. So they're trying to coordinate events right now in order to appear within equilibrium. Okay, this is within a balanced market. Okay, this is literally them trying to cause unnecessary pressure towards an equilibrium. So excessive pressure towards equilibrium, so that they can control supply and demand, and it's returning back to sender now. Okay, yeah. Gossiper. So this is what the energy that they're throwing in order to stop anyone from investigating about this. Okay, so thieves everyone from solitude, peace. They're very infertile. That's why. I mean, that's the original. You know what I mean. Their original weakness. Their original. What'd you call it? Omega identities that they were infertile, right? But unlike Hannah, who simply prayed to God and, you know what I mean, begged God, and with Ezekiel and whatever, you know, they're going around trying to act like like this is something new type shit. You know what I mean? As if no one else on earth could have ever been infertile by God's grace type shit. Like as if God never made anyone ever infertile who he loved type shit. So falsifies self-reputes to assistance. So any kind of assistance anyone gets, they try to act like they have some sort of like a reputation that they feel like they have to uphold, but they really don't. Exodus 20:16, Matthew, like they feel like they have some sort of ranking. They act like they got some sort of ranking. Matthew 19:18, Sutta 25:72, Bhagavad Gita 17:15, 10 evil acts for speech. Okay, and the mask that they wear to do this is the net weaver persona. So builds interconnected obligations so no one can move freely without them. As you can see, that's how they've been trying to make it seem as if equilibrium exists. That's because every time they copy, so let's say no one can live without the truth. We all have to live with the truth, right? They're trying to act like they're the truth so that then they can make everybody feel obligated to them instead of the truth, the actual truth. You see what I'm saying? So net weaver persona builds interconnected obligations so no one can move freely without them. Okay, so what's going back to sender is ingrate energy. So they can't make any children. They can't cause any more fatalities within the universe. They can't pretend to be, you know, uniformed in the universe anymore. They can't hide. It's kind of like a virus that hides itself as a cell. You know what I mean? So every time the white blood cells are trying to pass by and see everything, now the white blood cells are really tapping in there and checking every blood cell. You know what I mean? To be able to see everything, to make sure everything is clear. That kind of energy. So they try to wear a mask of a false shepherd or just a regular shepherd, but they can't do that. They can't appear as just a regular shepherd, so everyone can see that they were trying to wear the mask of a shepherd, which would make them look like a false shepherd, which they can't even look like now. They're just looking like, they can't even look like an ingrate anymore. Yeah, they can't even look like an ingrate anymore, but they were definitely trying to use that to lead others into danger under the guise of protection, right? And so the protection, we're not seeing it out yet, but they basically thought that they could cause some sort of signal interference, right? Interceptor, in order to throw off equilibrium. And that's how they were doing it, through mischievous energy. That's real mischief. See what I'm saying? Real mischief. So I don't know if you guys know about the fairies and the fairy realm and stuff like that, but God is in charge of the fairies too. So this is the kind of energy of someone like a dark elf as well energy. And I really want to explain to you how that came to be, the energy came to be. So it's like psychopaths can be just as smart as their victims, which makes them psychopaths, sociopaths. So it's kind of like the energy of someone who wants to seem like a sociopath, but is actually under the guise and control of somebody else kind of energy. You know what I mean? So assumes to attempt incapacitation of self-wisdom. You see what I'm saying? So they act like they act like either they're smarter than they are or dumber than they are, but really their level of wisdom is very minute. You see what I'm saying? They're very basic in their level of wisdom, but they either exaggerated, under exaggerated, or over exaggerated. Either way, it's in order to cause some sort of threat towards stagnancy or and achievability of some sort. Threat of stagnancy. Threat of stagnancy. Okay, blinded by strife, deafened by thirst. Okay, so Proverbs 6:18, Romans 1:32, Surah 5:64, Bhagavad Gita 16:4, 10 evil acts, 3 of mind. This is a very conscious action, 3 of mind energy. It's very conscious, okay? It's very much that they know that they're lying. They know that they're not, you know what I mean, capable of what it is that they're trying to achieve, which is why it's mischief. It's very demonic, and I rebuke it in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. It's very, very demonic. They're using a face changer persona and a grave digger persona. So alters style, manner, beliefs, and depending on the audience. Okay, uncovers and weaponizes past mistakes of others. So this was something that was super apparent today. Okay, this was something that was super, super apparent today. And it's like they try to act like I said before, they act like their shit don't stink, but this is because they either under exaggerate how much it stinks, or they over exaggerate how much it stinks. You see what I'm saying? It's like they weaponize these things, okay? And so schemer, another demonic energy, okay? Deliberate sabotager of order and organization, tries to cover up hopelessness, falsifies power of intentionality. Okay, so Proverbs 16:18, James 4:6, Surah 16:23, Bhagavad Gita 16:4, 10 evil acts, 3 of mind. Like I said, this is very conscious. Okay, these are very conscious actions. Yeah, bestialis in reverse. So it's like they couldn't get to they got thwarted. So the energy, their low vibrational energy, has been thwarted. Specifically, we're gonna find out what it is that they were trying to cause mischief around. Okay, because there's gossiper energy, so that's possibly why they were trying to control supply and demand of energies, or supply and demand in general. Okay, another card came through. Oh my gosh, these cards are popping. There's a lot of their plans that are being thwarted, like bad. A lot of their plans are being thwarted, like all of their plans are actually being thwarted. Yeah, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. All their plans are being thwarted, is what it's giving. All their plans are being thwarted, like major, major, major. And the thing about color that's actually so amazing is that you can never tell who is who and what is what. You know, you can never tell who is who and what is what kind of person, what their genetic component are, you know, you know what I mean? You don't really know someone's history by their skin tone. Okay, that's really the truth of the situation. So you guys can stop trying to, you know what I mean, trying to make it seem like motherfuckers is racist when they're not, because you really can't. Because like one of my Italian African boyfriends was actually stark pale. He was super pale. And there's a lot of pale people in Africa. I don't know why these people are fucking weird. They're fucking racist as shit. Okay? So projects own weaknesses at Omega. Remember what I said? So literally they have their own weaknesses. Literally, they have their own weaknesses. The fact that they're infertile is a huge weakness of theirs, but they project that as if that's not a weakness of theirs in order to cause instability, so that they can pretend as if that they're alpha of a certain part. See, lies about being alpha, so they can lie about it. They're insatiable. That's the insatiable energy. Is the same insatiable energy that they are. You see what I'm saying? Exodus 22. That means, and when I tell you about insatiable energy, it means that they cannot stop, will not stop. They're the type of person to be in prison already, still, like if it's a pedophile, they're already in prison, still planning to steal children, still planning to kill, still planning, like if they're a cannibal, they're still in prison, like still trying to kill someone, trying to feed off their flesh. Like they gotta be put on lockdown type shit. They gotta be put inside, like, you know what I mean? They're the reason why, like they're the danger that causes humanity to react in such inhumane ways. In reality, they are the danger. They don't want to accept the fact that they are the danger. They want to act like they're not the danger. They want to act like they're, you know what I mean? They want to act like they're alpha for being dangerous, like physically, spiritually dangerous. You see what I'm saying? And that's not how God works. Okay? So Exodus 22:21 through 24, James 2 through 6, Surah 475, Bhagavad Gita 16:19, 10 evil acts, 3 of mind and body. You see what I'm saying? So it's like not only are they, you know what I mean, like attempting to master the grave digger persona. So they may also, like, these are individuals who also can't tell that food is, like, if they eat rotten, they can eat rotten food, rotten flesh, and they act like, oh, they don't even taste it. You know what I'm talking about? Like you can smell that something is funky, it doesn't smell right, it's rotten, but they're like trying to like hide it, act like they don't like notice, but then they'll still eat it. And it's like, it's kind of giving that energy. I don't know how to explain to you, but this actually happened to me. It was like, it's like the beginning stages of demonic possession. Like that's why in the movies they show people like, ugh, like, you know what I mean? And it's all gnats and flies and shit because they're rotting inside. That's why they like throw up black and shit like that, because they're rotting inside. It's a neurological thing, and the human strength goes a long way. You'd be surprised. Like, you know what I mean? The nails being like, what you call it, digging onto the thing, them climbing on roofs and acting super possessed. Absolutely, that's a real thing, because it's a neurological dysfunction. It's a real thing. And so that's what I mean. It's like those individuals can't tell when something is rotting. They can't smell it. They can't feel it. They have no feeling. You see what I'm saying? So uncovers and weaponizes past mistakes of others. Okay, so mischievous again is out on the table. So we already had a bunch of cards here, is where the playing field they're playing around. So they have been thrown off from the court of perfect competition. Okay, and this is where they think that they're thriving, where these are the courses they're going to be thrown out of. So you got speculative market, which makes sense, because as soon as I saw gossiper there, I already knew that, I knew exactly that they were trying to contort the speculative market. So this would be their challenge, right? Pressure for high risk opportunity assessment. So they try to make seem as if that there's opportunity where there's no opportunity, or where they're, like I said, they can't even feel, they can't even tell where there really is opportunity, how there could be opportunity there, and how it could come to be, and what the risks and the demands for those opportunities may be. They can't tell any of it because they're infertile. You see why the weakness is so important? Because they're infertile, they have no idea what could be an opportunity and why it could be an opportunity, and where it came to be an opportunity, and how it's going to be beneficial, and the risk involved within the benefit of that opportunity. Okay, so then this is what I'm saying. So so there's grounding of decisions in truth, right, within that market, within that jurisdiction, right, that domain, right. That's what I said, they're gossiping, right? So it actually makes perfect sense, because it's like I said, they have to be thrown off perfect competition. So it's like, even entailing how it could be perfect is like disastrous. Why? Because the whole point And the concept of the speculative market is to be able to activate in caution, within caution. You see what I'm saying? It's about being cautious. Those mischievous individuals can't be cautious. Why? Not only because of their demonic energy, but because they're insatiable. You see what I'm saying? When an individual is so insatiable, they can't be precautious. Everything that they do shows their hand. You see what I mean? So it's like they don't have any kind of strategia. They don't have any. And so because they don't have any strategy, there's no caution within a situation and there's no grounding within the stability of truth. So there's no truth within a situation for there to be groundedness in. And so that means that what? That they can't be a part of that market anymore. So they got to be thrown out of that market too. So that's out, right? So another thing is consolidating market, right? So the challenge there is pressure for combining resources to form larger entities. So they can't combine any resources because they're so insatiable. They're the type of individuals to actually eat up their own resources, knowing that there wouldn't be any more unless that they were going to what be mischievous to attain those types of resources. So they're well, like that is exactly what is showing their hand within the situation because there's no stability. You see what I'm saying? There's no stability. So they can't like pretend to be a part of a consolidating market because the whole point is being balanced and they are imbalanced as all hell. They're in hell. They're not balanced at all. So they can't be a part of overcoming the challenge of, you know what I mean, combining resources because there wouldn't be any trusted authority within the situation, which honor is a huge deal within a consolidated market, right? So this would be like places like the government, even like the military, the militia, right? It's a huge consolidated market, but they can't have any parts of it because they don't have any resources not only to combine, but they also don't understand the fertility. You see what I mean? They don't have fertility. So you see what I'm saying? There's no presenting factor of truth within a circumstance that would allow them to be a part of that demonstration of consolidation. You see what I'm saying? Balanced market. You see, that's literally that's literally what I'm saying here. So pressure for equilibrium between demand and supply. You see what I mean? Pressure for, so they're the ones causing a situation, right? You see what I'm saying now? They're causing a situation where now there's now pressure for equilibrium, which is actually a divine challenge for all of us, right? You see how karma works? So it's like now we all have to sit there and feel pressure for an equilibrium to receive an equilibrium that would be beneficial for supply and demand to be in what balance. You see what I'm talking about now? Why is it that there's no real balanced market? Well, because those individuals are not a part of the consolidating market, which would allow for balance. What does that say? Balance. You see what I'm saying? And the balance that the market causes that allows for what? Caution. You see what I'm saying? That's what wisdom. That's something that they don't have. Why? Because they're infertile. You see? Anyone who truly understands the weakness of infertility overcomes it with what? Innovation, right? Right? That's the whole like point of the human experience being about, you know what I mean, discovery and journey and such like that. God doesn't just leave his children infertile, the fuck. Like, God gives us challenges so that we can overcome those challenges and then continue to reproduce, right? So the whole point of being infertile is to then become fertile, duh. But they don't want to. You see what I'm saying? They never sought out fertility. They're not looking for it. Why? Because they're in the demonic energy of being insatiable. You see what I'm saying? And that's all been proven. So another market where they're using that false demonstration of their weaponizing of past mistakes on other people, right? And such like that is through crisis distributed market. So this is where this resilience is necessary. You see what I mean? Resilience of anything is necessary. This is where immortality also comes to shine. You know what I mean? So pressure for survival during sudden disruption. So you see what I'm saying? So they're challenging all these multiple markets when it comes to overcoming. You see what I mean? Because it's about meeting essential needs, right? And allowing for continuity. What is immortality all about? Continuity. This is us living in kingdom with God forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever eternally. But what is an example of that on earth is a crisis disrupted market. You see what I mean? How many times have we had a crisis here on earth? I mean, it happens every second, every day, every minute, all the time. Why? Because there has to be resilience within a situation. We build our innovations around resilience in order for us to captivate endurance and then build up with endurance and then give that endurance to the Most High God, which then allows us to have that kind of sense of continuity, right? The sense of it, but in reality, it's the actual continuity, not only the sense of it, but actual continuity. This is what allows the human race to progress. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, the pressure for survival. Survival is the name of the game. Oh shit, that was wrong song. You know that song? Constantes si uno yupe mirva polo maras heres mercuros ti anamaros vulcras puto vesta menas mabutoni to fuchite. I'm completely butchering that. I'm sorry. Mabutoni mabutani tayo taum misuno kamingani kanshi camino ataishi kuso program. Says it right there. Survival game. Survival time game. Survival game. Says it right there. Informal market. Yeah, the pressure for exchange where formal systems are absent. So you see how the crisis disrupted market is occurred through what? Through absence of formality. Why is there absence of formality? Well, because there's all that bullshittery going on with the net weaver persona energy. What is it? Builds interconnected obligations so no one can move freely without them, right? So in that energy, there's no formality within a situation. There's no honor. There's no distribution of income. There's no sustainability. There's no survival. There's no resilience. There's no balance. There's no equilibrium. There's no caution. There's no humility. There's nothing there that allows for a formal, moral justice and what? Trust, right? Where does that trust come from during the exchange where formal systems are absent, which is the challenge, right? Loyalty. And now you see the problem. There's no honor amongst thieves. It means that loyalty is what is being bought and sold, right? Loyalty is actually an angel, so we're going to give that to God. Loyalty is an angelic power. So, yeah. So justified energy of honoring agreements. You see that? That has to do with promise. What does that promise have to do with trust? You see what I mean? That's none of that is demonic. None of that is impure. None of that is for them. None of that is anything they could agree on. None of that is anything they could understand. None of that is anything they could see. You see what I mean? And that's where we are overcoming the challenges, where all of these energies are being brought into the consciousness of Christ consciousness energy and being elevated away and ascending. Those markets are being ascending. Okay, they're being ascended and away from those problematic individuals and energies where they can no longer sustain their living with some false ideation of loyalty that they created from the disrupted format of our markets. Okay. And so that's another thing, right? And the final thing when it comes to that situation is the this is my this is what I know of the American market. Okay, this is the North American market system is the recessionary market. Okay, now it's being seen within the recessionary market. Why? Because of that same endurance. You see how you can't get rid of it? Is that same endurance? What's the channel? Pressure for survival again during economic showdown. You see that? It's an economic showdown. So the energy that allows for the practicality of the market to be elevated is endurance. And the merit, I shit you not, the thing that comes out of this market is resilience. You see that? You see that? Where is the resilience? Right there, crisis disrupted market. And they can't be a part of it anymore. They can't be a part of the crisis disrupted market because they can't be the crisis that's disrupting our market when God is already creating crisis enough. Okay? God isn't sending them to go and create crisis to disrupt our market. We already have enough. Okay? And that's the reality of the situation. Okay? Why? Because there's faith serves faithfully. That is the justification. That is the reason why the market exists. That is the reason why North America is still fucking alive. Thanks to Jesus Christ. Do you understand? That's all. Because Allah's not going to protect the US anymore with the way that they've been doing shit. Do you understand? God is not going to protect the US. The only thing really protecting the US is the faith of Christ, of Jesus Christ. And it's a countdown, honey. It's a showdown. Christianity is the only thing saving the US right now. I hope that made sense for you guys. Collective. Welcome to my channel. So all of these things are being sent back to sender. So cloak knife persona, plotting someone's downfall. See how I'm smiling? Am I plotting anyone's downfall? My mind is so clear. I don't have to. I don't have to plot on anyone's downfall. I don't really give a fuck. Fall or not, I don't really care. I feel great. Face changer persona back to sender. Alter style, manner, and beliefs depending on the audience. Looks like I'm not the one pretending. Now am I? Coattail rider persona. Rides by attaching to someone else's success. All right, let's find out. So this energy that wait, oh, stop. Witch. Sorcerer, because I said non-binary. I think we're just like, fuck it. Call her a witch and a sorcerer. Sorry, that's too funny. Attempting to decategorize God's creations, falsely shepherding people and overseeing. Didn't I say? So extreme limits. They can't take being constricted, which is what the extreme limits are about. Sorcerers are only sorcerers once they're extremely limited, because the only way for you to, like, you know what I mean, make shit up for real is when you got limited resources, right? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know, snake oil shit. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I'm saying. It's like the only way for someone to really come up with some bullshit is to work what they really got. It's like the opposite of an envoy. It really is the opposite of an envoy, which, you know, we take what is offered. Whoa, why is my hand so huge? Sorry. I don't know why my hands be looking so big sometimes. Anyways, I be like, you see, it's weird. I don't know. Okay, so abusing authority despite God's word, using dirty, false, begotten information. Okay, well, dang. Exodus 22:18, Deuteronomy 18:10 through 12, 2 Kings 21:6, Isaiah 47:9, 12 through 18, Micah 5:12, Galatians 5:20, Revelations 21:8, 22:15, Surah 2:102, 7:1, 20, 69, Artha Veda 8:88, 8:10. 10 evil acts for speech, 3 of mind, and which, right? Exodus 22:18, Deuteronomy 18:10 through 12. 2 Chronicles 33:6, Nahum 3:4, Galatians 5:20, Surah 2:102, 26:9, 69. 10 evil acts for speech, 3 of mind. When people start understanding that these books were all written together and like, you know what I mean? They were all created all at the same time by God, and then, you know what I mean, timelines. So they really didn't know dirty, false, begotten information. They really didn't know. You know, when I tell people like, oh yeah, like who my parents are and who my grandparents are and who my great grandparents are and who my uncles are and who my aunties are. It's like when I tell them who my cousins are and all that shit, right? They be like, how do you know that? I'm like, what do you mean? How do I, me, myself and I, how do I know who my relatives are? What? That's how I know that there's something missing with them. That's how I know. And I'm not trying to find out, to be honest. Like, I'm not really trying to find out, you know, because that's really what it is. Rise by attaching to someone else's success. It's like, do you know how many people are attached to my success? Do you know how many people are really attached to successful people? Like, you do understand that they're successful people because usually they're the other people attached to them. Not so, but so that we could all share in the unified form of success that we all exist in. It's like literally saying, oh my gosh, it's a river and let's all go drink from the river. Let's all take care of the river. It's our land. We'll take care of the river. It's our earth. You know what I mean? We'll take care of the earth. It's our rivers. We'll share all the rivers and the lands and whatever, right? And some witch sorcerer looking motherfucker. Let me tell you, it's like the shit covered motherfucker, right? Literally shit covered. And then they want to go and infect the river in the shit that they're covered in. And then they want to go, this is my river now. And all of us are like, I guess we'll have to move. You know what I mean? Like, I guess we'll have to like build fences around it next time. You know, next time we build fences, we build the walls and shit around the rivers and shit like that. We be building the barricades. And then we see the same type of motherfucker, shit covered in all. We're like, there they are. Shoot them. Someone take them out. Someone, before they infect the river. And they think that they're, you know what I mean? Because like they can't drink from the same river they infected, you know, so they're gonna have to go and try and find a different river to drink from, type shit, right? Since the river that they infected then got infected. So like they're the type of motherfucker that's the witch of them, right? The sorcery of them is when they hide. And they hide and they wait for people to come innovate. Dang it. Fucking witch. Dirtied up our river, murked up our water, killed all the fish and shit. Fuck. Like, we're gonna have to like recalibrate and like take care of our river. And we ask God, how do we clean our river and how do we maintain our water and how do we make sure that everyone is supplied with water and how do we make sure that people aren't so stressed out about water and how do we get it and where do we get it from and how do we make sure it's clean and we're getting all these, like, we're asking all this information. God is giving us all this information. We're learning. It's taking us, you know, years to learn all this information. We're mastering all this shit, right? We're like learning everything. And then they're still hiding. Like that type shit in the fucking bushes or some shit. So we build the walls, we like make sure everything is good, we clean our rivers, we build a dam, right? And there they come, no longer shit covered because you know what I mean, they've taken care of that in our river. And then they go in and they go, oh, I just really need some water. I just really need some water. I just really need some water. We're like, well, we all had water today, didn't we? Didn't we all have water? It's like, yeah, but that guy and that person and that bitch and that person. In fact, I think that she's conglomerating with the wit. That's the sorcery. That's it right there. Because then it's like, what? One of us, one of our people didn't give you the water? Like, it's all our river. Like, we all share this river. Please go ahead and go get the water, right? And that's the sorcery. You see what I'm talking about now? And that's what they want to act like is me after I done told you the story. Me, the elder type shit. The incarnate. How many times have we been through this? Yeah, there it is. So the challenge, right, that they're bringing in, I shit you not, this is why I said Christ is averted, disrupted, we have to remove it, is pressure for fair access. And the way God showed it to me was straight from the challenge. Pressure for fair access. You see? That's where they're throwing pressure at us for fair access so that we can open our market because of our integrity. You see? Why? So that they can compete fairly. And using what? Our trust that we done just had all for. We just did all this shit, right? We did all this shit to get all this trust. And they want to just swoop in through the pressure of a fair market. I want to compete too type energy. You see why? You see why the societies be secret now? Pressure for operating where formal economy gaps exist. You see? Now all of a sudden there's formal economy gaps. But it was all our river. It was all our abundance. It was all our prosperity. We were all here at the same time. We didn't all build this shit together. And we're all in this together. All of a sudden, we gotta adapt. Because we're finding specks of shit in our river. Where did the specks of shit come from? I thought the witch was gone, right? So they wanted to make some hidden stability for themselves, those individuals who were causing all these crises for people in their lives, okay? Provide where systems fail. You see what I'm saying? Failing the system, causing failures of the system. Also not being there to like, let's, this is where I can say there's no doubt about this. But anyone who is truly fair and loyal, right, would have come into a situation shit covered and been like, hey, I need a shower bad. Can you help me to clean off all the shit? And we wouldn't have been like, yeah, go ahead and hop in the river. No. We wouldn't have been like, well, like, okay, hold on, stay right there. Let's clean you up. They would have been a noble by now. But that's how stupid they are. So they want to fail systems and create failures and back ends of failures in the system so that they can make it seem as if that they had some hidden stability to cause a faulty in the equilibrium of the market. You see what I'm saying? So they can what? Seem to control the supply and demand of situations and things. And then, yeah, there it is, the loyalty. I shit you not. The challenge is, so this is the actual challenge going on. This is the real challenge of the Americas. Okay? This is the real challenge of the Americas. Pressure for shielding local industries from foreign competition. Who didn't know that? Who didn't know that? Who didn't know that? Who didn't know that we had competition with, you know what I mean? I said we. You see what I mean? You see? Who didn't know that all of us didn't have competition with all of us in the rest of the continents and countries from foreign competition competitors? Who knew? Who didn't know that? That's basic. That's half the reason why we study economics. I mean, that's a global challenge, if anything, right? That actually allows for a perfect market competition, right? Which allows for industrial revolution and the growth of what? Supply and demand, and the growth of the population and the growth of the resources to maintain the population, right? So pressure for shielding local industries from foreign competition is the challenge, right? And overcoming that challenge means loyalty, true loyalty. I shit you not, it literally takes loyalty to overcome the challenge of the pressure for shielding local industries. It takes loyalty. And loyalty is like so much love and fun and honor. You see what I'm saying? It takes faith to be loyal. And what is it called again? The justification of the whole situation, right? The whole thing that comes together, that brings it all together within a protectionist market, something that brings it all together, what the loyalty really stands for is the protection of livelihoods. What is a shepherd without his sheep? You see? And so the support is there. It's always there, just like the air is always there, just like the abundance is always there, just like the resources are always there, just like the success is always there. The support is always there. All thanks to God and what He's taught us of loyalty. It's crazy that I have to go back to the BCs so that I can really bring this into perspective. It's insane. Like, I never thought that I had to go back to the BC so that I could bring this shit to perspective. All right. But alas, we're here. Last card. Those individuals, if you go, who are they? Who are they? They're blasphemers. You know, there's like people who recently is like, it's like people who hear that the word of God is real and that the promise of kingdom is real and that heaven is real and that Jesus is real and, you know, glory of God is real and angels are real and all that stuff. So they start blaspheming as if that they'd never been a blasphemer before, as if that they never, you know what I mean? Projects their own sin at God. Very unlucky, right? Plagiarizes to thief humility. You see what I'm saying? So humility is found where? Isn't it when God puts pressure on you, when God gives you something to be humble about? God has given everyone something to be humble about. You know, God has given everyone something to be humble about. Even me, I'm doing shadow work right now, thinking, how many things has God given me to be humble about in my life? Just look at my face, man. Just look at my channel. How many things has God given me to be humble about? And so these people really try and act as if that they gotta humble other people. Those individuals they want to humble other people, want to act like there's some source of humility in this planet. But really what? They want to plagiarize it, right? They want to plagiarize it so that they can make it seem as if they already learned all their lessons. Leviticus 24:16, Matthew 12:31, Surah 6:108, Manusmriti 2:11, 10 evil acts for a speech. So they can't be a shadow anchor anymore, right? to try and keep a person bound to them through shared secrets. They can't do that anymore. There's no point of trying to falsify any secret to share so that they can act as if they're humble about some shit. Yeah. Oh, there's another one here. I didn't even see that. Oh, a liar. There they are. It's finally a back to sender on that liar shit, man. I'm so happy that this is coming out finally. It's being exposed because I think that there's nothing worse to me than calling me, I mean, a liar. I think there's really nothing worse that you can do. Like, I mean, I've been raped. I've been impregnated by a rapist. I even thought I was capable of, like, personally in this lifetime, I thought I was capable of asexual reproduction. That's how bad, that's how gaslit I was. Like, shit you not, I was so gaslit. I'm like, maybe I do produce sperm. And somehow it got like into my ovaries and I got pregnant at, 6 years old. Maybe that's what happened. You know what I mean? I got so gaslit. I thought I started my period by breaking my cherry in bed and there was blood everywhere. I thought that was normal. I was so gaslit. Like, genuinely. No, I think the wildest thing is thinking that I was capable of asexual reproduction. I think in this lifetime, like as a child. I mean, I'm not saying no, like we're not capable of it. I mean, there's pretty much a lot of proof that we could be capable of it, right? But pretty sure I was just lied to. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure I was just raped. I mean, not just, but I was obviously raped. You know what I mean? And so I'm really glad that's coming out because with the blasphemer card coming out, crown polisher persona, right? Keeps those in power looking good to preserve their own position. So these are like imitations of positions that they would like other people to believe that exist that aren't real in order to make it them believe as if it were power, aka loyalty. So like Stockholm syndrome, they want people to believe that's loyalty. That's a neurological mental disorder. You know what I mean? Like compulsive OCD, compulsive obsessive disorder. They want people to think that that's loyalty when that's actually a disorder. You see what I'm saying? It's like a lot of things like Oedipus or Electra complex, falling in love with your sibling, having sex or marrying with them and stuff like that, right? That's not like your third cousin and lower, like, you know what I mean? Like that is also a mental disorder and a complex. Like a falling in love or being jealous with your cousin or your first cousin or your mother or your grandmother or your father or your uncle, like that's all a mental disorder. You know what I mean? And so it's like a lot of like, oh, they're like they want to make seem like they're royalty within a specific situation, da 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 da. To the point of even trying to, it's always addicts calling other addicts, addicts. It's the same situation of people that are incestuous calling incestuous. Like that's why I had to like stop and like take a step back because it's like you gotta really see the trick within a situation. You gotta see how the trick is, and you have to see how trick works. You know, so keeping those in power looking good to preserve their own position. So it's like literally make believing a sense of loyalty when there isn't, in which would be like fear actually, right? So the power in the situation isn't even real, right? It would be irrational because fear isn't a power, it's a principality. Okay, that's why if when they say fear God, it's like even then you're building principles. It's authentic. You don't even get a chance because God eliminates the fear immediately. You see what I'm saying? So even then, your thinking is fear is actually loyalty. God really works in mysterious ways. So mass collector persona steals personas from others to use later, and that's really what it is in the situation. And the what they're trying to do is make seem as if other people are liars, right? So obsessed over destruction of others, denies reality beyond relief. They try to make seem as if other people are liars in order to now take from them their original character, right? Their OC, their who they really are deep inside, and wear it as a mask in order to accommodate their selfishness, right? And I kid you not, it's coming out here. It's not working anymore. So all the other energies are coming out in reverse. So it got stopped, final stopping, right? So Leviticus 19:11, Colossians, literally, Colossus, Colossians 3:9, Surah 22:30, Manusmriti 4:138, 10 evil acts, 4 of speech. And that's the reality of the situation right there. So, you guys, I might actually do another 10 more minutes just so that I can complete the hour. Okay? Yeah. Ooh. Let's just shuffle it again. You okay? Okay. Sorry. I had to check on my cat. Oh, you know what? There it is. Intuitive, instinctual energy coming through. So signal mirror persona reflects only what others want to see to gain their trust. So that's the exposure going on right now. So they act, so it's like, you know, when you're sitting down and it's like something is going on, like let's say you're in no. Wow. So they falsify their inspiration is what it's giving, heavy with false teacher and crown polisher energy. The power that is actually fear based, and not a real power, is a false sense of inspiration. Okay, it's a false sense of inspiration through a falsified, capitalized on amusement. Okay, so turning faith away from people. See, you see what I'm talking about now? Capitalized, right? Voided. You see, straight up lying actively. Couldn't make it up. Reflects only what others want to see to gain their trust, right? Deuteronomy 18:20 through 22, Matthew 7:15, Surah 6:93, Manusmriti 4:195, 10 evil acts, 4 of speech. So it's they're the ones that, so it's like, what is a shepherd without their sheep, right? So they are, that was the question. That's true. I did ask that, right? So now it's coming through. Yeah. Right. Yeah, like it was the top, you know what I mean? It was right there. Pressure for shielding local industries from foreign competition, right? We talked about this perfectionist market. I mean, protectionist market, loyalty, protect livelihood, support, right? So it's like they falsify. Oh, it's like clout baiting. Clout baiting. That's what it is. Yup, now I see it. Okay, perfect. Okay, that actually works really well. Yeah, pressure for adapting to cyclical demand. Yeah, this is what I'm working on right now. I'm working on another set of cards for healing, right, and exposure. Um, but I only have so many of my green cards left, which I would have gotten more of, but I actually think I'm only going to work with what I got, right? So adaptability, that's what I'm saying. Serve with excellence and reliability. You see what I'm saying? So like reliable. They create so they clout bait people in order to seem reliable before individuals recognize the trust being taken for granted is basically the energy. Okay? So pressure for centralized control of unique resources and products is the challenge that they're trying to manifest. So remember when I said that they wanted to make it seem as if that they were a source of a problem? God is the creator of all things, okay? That's why some of us will go through the worst shit and never talk about it and never complain, because those things we know we can heal from with God. But it's a whole different kind of discussion, a whole different type of connection when it's like someone else trying to call, like some devil, some energy, some person trying to make it an issue for us. that's a whole different thing. You know what I mean? Because it's like, who the fuck sent them? And it's usually not God. That's the reality of the situation. It's usually never God. You know what I mean? Like, God didn't really send the devil to Job, right? The devil went directly to Job, and then God was like, no, 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 no. And then devil was like, oh, but you know what I mean? Type trying to beg. And then God was like, there's a lesson that I want Job to learn. You know what I mean? And then the problem, you see what I'm saying? That's how it works. That's how God works. You see? It's like God is most merciful. Allah is most merciful, okay? He really is. He is so merciful. Even that devil got spared. What makes you think that like his own children wouldn't get the best of the best, honestly? Honestly. Like all the challenges that we're going through, you don't think that they have meaning? Like, of course they do. Like, of course they do. It's when like some weirdo individual, when the real enemy, not us as people, not who we are as races, not us as species, not even the Galantians, not the angels, not the aliens, right? Not the no, none of us are enemies to each other. We really are not. It is truly those powers, principalities, you know, those false ass energies. What else was it again? Powers, principalities, and something else. Oh, please. Powers, principalities, and I'll remember. I'll write it down this time. But what'd you call it? Yeah. But the challenge right now, globally, another one, right? Or sorry, no, not globally right now, but that's what they're trying to falsify as the challenge. Pressure for centralized control of unique resources and products. That's why there was such a huge boom when it came to NFTs and EFTs and all that stuff, because of all the pressure for centralized control of unique resources and products, including monetary exchange and foreign exchange and such like that. But why is that challenge really there if it's not coming directly from God, if we're already dealing with a whole separate, right, set of challenges? Well, the reality is stewardship. What is a shepherd without a sheep? So monopolistic. When you think of, what'd you call it? Stewardship, right? No, in fact, it was right there. Because the merit from stewardship is authority, right? And authority is always given to God first. And this is honestly one of the biggest reasons why. Do you see? Or should I say biggest reasons? It's not really biggest reasons, is it? No, yeah. It's one of the challenges. Why? Monopolistic markets and such, they're usually the reason why. Because there's quality that's being guarded. And quality that's being guarded is more than veneration. Veneration is what it is that they're trying to target, which is like a portal to heaven. If you're a venerable human being, you know what I'm talking about? And this is obvious. This isn't a secret. What you tell the truth your whole life and you're good. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a secret. It's a commandment. In fact, it's an order. You see what I'm talking about now? It's an order. And it's like they're so mad and angry that order is real and it exists in this world. It really does exist and is real. And the world can sometimes be so cruel. And the world can sometimes be so like distrusting, but no one else is going to do that but the world. That's the reality of the situation. That's why God loves the world and we fucking don't. Okay? There's real lessons in this reality. And that's why I love reality. And I also really love actuality. And I love God. I really do love God. And he truly is amazing. He really is awesome. He really is super fucking cool. Excuse my language, Lord. I'll see you guys next time. All right. Peace out.